Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in! Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons & Dragons, and welcome back to the channel that takes power gaming to the next level. Today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we're going over the spell Conjure Celestial. It's our first 7th level spell in our series of spells that we're doing in alphabetical order. There's no A's, there's no B's, so we go right into the C's, and it starts with Conjure Celestial. We're giving this spell a C. There's a couple of reasons why we're doing that, but first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, so Conjure Celestial is a 7th level spell that is only usable by clerics. A bard with magical secrets could pick this spell up at 14th level. So there is that. This spell to me seems kind of underwhelming for what it can do, and that's one of the reasons I'm giving it a C. Plus, it's only usable by clerics, so that's another reason why we're giving it a C. And when I say underwhelming, it's because the choices of summoning are limited, although they have expanded as different source material comes out. And I'm going to say some things about some of that source material. So let's get into the spell. 7th level spell, takes 1 minute to cast. It is a range of 90 feet. This is, I think, unlike some of the other conjure spells, that it does take a minute to cast, but it does last for an hour. And it is a concentration spell. You do want to concentrate on this because there's the one thing that you're going to summon with. There's a couple of choices, and there's really one that you want. So you summon a Celestial of challenge rating 4 or lower. I wish that was at least a challenge rating 5, if not a 6. The challenge rating 4 seems a bit underwhelming. It appears in unoccupied space that you can see within range. It drops to 0, it ends. The Celestial is friendly to you and your companions. Roll initiative. It has its own turns. It obeys your verbal commands as long as you don't violate its alignment. You don't issue any commands to the Celestial. If you don't, it defends itself, blah, blah, blah. And then the GM has this Celestial statistics. Now, if you upcast this spell to 9th level, you summon a Celestial of challenge rating 5 or lower. That's super underwhelming. That should be much higher challenge rating. So I want to go over to Sage Advice because for those of you that don't know, Sage Advice is the official rulings for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. This is the official rulings, not Jeremy Crawford's tweets. Those are not official at all. This one right here, and that's what it says right here. And there is an entry in here about conjure spells and such. So when you cast a spell like Conjure Woodland Animals, does the spellcaster or the DM choose the creatures that are conjured? And it says that you have to work it out with your dungeon master, but the DM will often choose creatures that are appropriate. So that is that. That answers that question. Is you do not necessarily choose. You can voice your want and or need to the DM, and they can weigh that as to whether they're going to be able to fulfill it or not. Okay, so you can tell them that you want to summon a challenge rating 4, and then you basically have one choice at that point. Now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures here that are challenge rating 4. Only one of them is found in the basic rules, and that's the Quaddle. The Hound Archon is in Planescape, which I'm not going to get. And the Winged Bull and the Winged Lion are in Mythic Odysseys of Theros, which I have. And they're okay as it's a flying creature. It's got a charge. It does pretty good damage. So if it hits, its 2-hit is pretty bad. But most creatures that are high challenge rating have a really low armor class. Like the Winged Bull has a 12. It's got 95 hit points. So if it charges at least 20 feet and hits with its gore attack, it does an extra 3d12. So it's going to do 5d12 plus 5 damage which is pretty good. I mean, it's only 1 attack. That's pretty good. The other choice that you have with this is the Winged Lion. It has Pounce, and it has 1 attack. So, not fantastic. So, pretty much, I'm not getting into why I am or am not going to be getting Planescape. So, the other choice that you have for a challenge rating 4 is the Quaddle, which is pretty amazing. For a challenge rating 4, it's got 97 hit points and 19 armor class. It does fly at 90 feet. It's got a bunch of spells. It can do Bless 3 times a day. It can do Cure Wounds 3 times a day. And it is it can't really upcast it. So it can do Lesser Restoration 3 times a day. It can do Sanctuary 3 times a day. It can do Greater Restoration once a day and Scrying once a day. So those are all really good. It's okay on attack. It's got a poison, which has a really, really weak saving throw. It can grapple. It can change its shape. So it's got a lot of utility, but it's one choice. That is it. Now, if you want to look at, things that are lower than 4, there's 2 choices of a 3. I'm not getting either one of these books. And then as a 2, you got a Pegasus. And this Starlancer, Planescape, which I'm not getting. So there's not very much of a choice. And that's kind of the reason why it says sample Pegasus. Now, when we look at Conjure like Woodland Beings, the sample list is pretty long because there's a lot of choices. Now, as far as challenge rating 5 go, you're pretty much stuck with the Unicorn if you don't have all the rest of this. I have the Baldur's Gate book, so we could look at that. That one was okay. This one's got some pretty good spells. It's got Raise Dead once a day. That's pretty good. It's got Heal once a day. It's got Banishment once a day. It's got Teleport, which it can use on multiple people. It's got Cure Wounds twice a day, Bless twice a day. So it's got some pretty good spells. It's got this Trumpet of Blasting, this Trumpet. So it's got some pretty good stuff. Doesn't have the most hit points in the world. And then you've got your Unicorn, which has some spells that are not great. It's got Entangle once a day. And it's got this Healing Touch, which does some healing. It can do a limited teleport. So, I think the Quaddle is probably the best bet for this, just to cast this as a base spell. But for the most part, as a cleric, I'm not going to be taking this spell or preparing this spell just because of some of the limitations with it, unless I really, really want that Quaddle. That's really what it comes down to. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch